Hello, everyone, and welcome to our first episode of When Pigs Fly. I'm Patty McGuire, and I am joined by Renee Masaccio and Tracy Malhado. And we're here because we love playing in higher consciousness. And we all know that there is a global movement of self realization happening at this moment. And we've got a lot to say about it. And take what resonates with you here and then throw the rest out. It's really important that you only take pieces of this that mean something to you, and you can't get it wrong. And we're here to have fun and be curious and explore. And so without further ado, I'm going to toss it over to Renee, and she's going to give us our topic for the day.
Thank you, Patty. We're going to be talking about perception. And what we're doing is we're getting some of this information from Tracy's book. Hope everybody can see that. The Musings of the Mind. Listen. And she's got all these beautiful little things. And in here with the perception, the key thing on there is change your perception, change your day. And that is so true. And I think we've all talked about this so much. When you just shift and you change one little way of seeing things, and Tracy is awesome at that. Like, it really changes your mind. So I'm going to sort of like toss it over to Tracy if she's got something to say about that, and then we'll just have our discussion.
Hello, everyone. Thanks, Renee and Patty. Glad to be here. And yeah, I think this is a really relevant and important thing to kind of just be in everyone's awareness, especially going forward. A lot of changes, I believe, are coming in 2024. I believe there's going to be a lot of positive and a lot of opportunities for us to change how we show up and, who we be in life. So I think it's all exciting. But I think that the three of us could pick any topic and all kind of give a different perspective on, how people view it, how we view it, how others view it. So I don't know if we want to pick something fun to play with. I always have personal examples in my life because my life is full of yummy experiences to dissect and analyze. But yeah, what do we want to start with today to kind of jump into?
I would go for it, Tracy. Why don't you share with us one way that you would go about changing or an example of when you changed a perception that you had and experienced a change?
Okay, I'm gonna pick a kind of fun one. And this happened yesterday and it really resonated with me. And I really try and self-reflect often. So I'm gonna kind of condense the story. I had a facial yesterday. Been seeing the same girl for 6 years. She's a master. And in an hour, I would say that I got acupressure, chiropractic, aromatherapy, lymphatic drainage, and I just laid there and I really embraced all of it. And I was thinking, wow, I don't think that probably 90% of the people that lay on her table realize what they're receiving. But what was amazing to me is Kate, she's the esthetician. And it's funny, her salon is Blue Morpho Skin. And so, right, that's relevant to us, Blue Morpho, Metamorphosis, the butterfly. And she brings that. But here's what I really thought was amazing. She doesn't explain what she's doing. She just shows up with so much integrity and so much passion. And at the end of it, I tell her how amazing she is every time. But it really resonated with me is, wow, she just shows up in her truth, in her passion, with her integrity. She's not trying to sell herself. She's not trying to, and now I'm doing this, and this is how it's going to benefit for you. And I walked away with like, I'm gonna try and do that. Just show up with integrity and try not to use my words and my actioning and my, so I'm going to throw that at the table because that was a big one. I'm going to watch myself the next couple weeks and then watch other people of how everyone's trying to prove themselves and sell themselves and be defensive in the conversation and the yeah, buts. And I was thinking, gosh, if we all could just self-reflect on that daily, the world would change literally instantaneously.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. And what I love about that, Tracy, is you're really coming back into you, coming back into the feeling. And I think that's what so many people have forgotten to do. What does it feel like to me? They're so used to just following the way the world has been. And that's not what this energy is. This energy is really shifting and changing and becoming something so different that we have to check in with ourselves and recognize, okay, you know what? Wait a minute, this doesn't feel right anymore, or I'm just doing this because this is my program. The programs are done and they are being shoved in our face bigger than ever that, hello, pay attention. What is right for you? What feels right to you, right? You both experience that?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I go by other people's opinion of me or none of my business because it's, and Tracy, essentially what you're saying is, am I showing up for me?
Exactly.
Right? Am I showing up for me? And man, when you just sink into that, it really is. It's so powerful and it's more fun. It's not and the best way that we can show up for other people, particularly the ones we're closest to, is to show up for you. It's, it's the old oxygen mask on yourself first is really, really true. And, but yeah, you were like totally in the moment and saying, okay, oh, wow, I'm just receiving, right? We had to learn to be good receivers again, too. Those of us who had a habit of giving and caretaking too much, right? It's that balance of learning to receive, too.
And that's the tough one, the learning to receive, because I don't know about you guys, but I think the world in general has been taught, oh, well, you can't have, you start paying attention to yourself, something's wrong with you. You're selfish. You're this, you're that. And it's like, no, because and everybody knows this, but I don't think we really put energy to it. If you're not showing up for yourself and you are deflated because you're giving, 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 your system is going to break down. Your body is going to break down. And that's where, the sickness and everything starts. Like when I'm looking at the energy of people, it's always that component of somebody say, okay, well, I've got this cold, I've got this whatever. And when I see the energy, you can literally track it down to an energetic separation in the body
Wow.
because they weren't paying attention to themselves. They weren't feeling what's right for me. Oh, I've got to do this because this is what I told somebody I would do. Well, you know what? Say, I'm sorry, I can't do that today because it doesn't work or I'm not feeling good. But we're so used to just going, 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 going and doing the stuff that we're forgetting that we are number one. And we lose that whole perception. And that's what has to come back. And to be able to say no and be okay because you're not selfish, you're taking care of yourself, because when you take care of yourself, then you can help the masses and then you can help everybody around you, right?
Yeah.
Well, also, it's interesting you say that because, of course, I wrote about it and I titled it The Future of Wellness because I thought, what a gift I received fully, fully, fully. It was an amazing, she calls it a facial. And I'm like, that was a whole body transformation. Like you're some, but because I received it fully and so in depthly, I, I, I received the gift from her, which is a gift back to her. Right?
Yes.
Like she has so much passion and she puts so much into it and she's totally unattached to how I receive it. She really is. She does it for her. But because I did receive it so in depthly and fully, do you see how much went back to her? And then Renee, like you said, I thought, gosh, if we just, whatever your passion or pleasure is, I love a facial, but we won't need healthcare. No one will be sick because I just had the most amazing treatment, therapy, receiving of amazingness. It's just funny you said that because I'm like, yeah, that's what the future of wellness.
It,
Mm-hmm.
Right?
oh, it absolutely is. And you said something really important there, Tracy. No attachment to the outcome.
Yes.
But when you get attached to the outcome, you're literally setting up your own trip bar. It's like, but or putting a kick me sign on your own back. And it's a, yeah, just be authentic and be in that moment and really and giving and receiving is actually the same energy. It's the same
Yes.
energy. It's two sides of the same energy.
Absolutely. And you both said something really important because it is like for all the people that do energy work or just, this, massage. I mean, everything is all energy work. We're all energy, right? But it's really important to know out there when you connect in to that outcome, you're feeling guilty because now somebody says, oh, well, my back still hurts. You didn't really hear that. Okay. It's not up to you, the person who's giving to that person, it's not up to you to do anything. You are literally the facilitator. Okay, it's up to that person. You don't know what that person's going on. Maybe they don't want to heal. Maybe that's doing them a service. I mean, I've had clients where I'll say, okay, well, look at this is what the healers are saying. You can do this and you can do this. You can get over that. Well, I've got a lawsuit going on right now, so I really can't heal. And I'm like, okay, well, then you know what? You don't need me. When you're ready to heal, then you come back, because what am I doing? Like, they're not going to do any better, and I don't want to waste their money. So it's that
Right.
point. But it is that whole thing, Tracy, exactly what Patty said. You can't attach the outcome. So anybody doing any type of work at all, do not attach to the outcome. Do not put your whole thought in there of, okay, well, this is what I'm, this person saying, their back hurts, so I'm going to work on that. It's the whole body. Maybe, I remember years ago working on my husband, and I was pulling something out of his foot. And now, mind you, by the way, then he was not, he didn't want to know anything about this stuff. Okay, so I was doing energy healing on him, and I remember pulling something out of his foot. Now, this is before I saw energy, right? So I'm pulling something out of his foot, and he is, oh my God, my shoulder's killing me. Get your hand up on my shoulder. I'm like, okay, you need to calm down. And I'm sure I didn't say that nice. You need to calm down, because this that I'm pulling out of your foot is attached to that on the shoulder. So, just shut up for now. And he's like, oh, not, and he just like kept whining. And then finally it released. Not completely, because he was so connected into it. He wasn't really, relaxing and allowing it to flow. But that goes back into what you guys were saying. Relax, just receive and be, and that transformation comes. That's,
Right.
that whole piece that has to be. And the minute, I sort of touched on that, but there's all these angelic healers, all the angels, the ascended masters, ask them for help. When we are stuck in our thing and we have this position, we can't see. This is what we've learned, right?
Yeah.
So when you're sitting there and you're saying, okay, look, okay, guys, okay, just know, okay, guys, help me with this. You will be amazed what starts to transform, right? I mean, have you both experienced that?
Yeah, and that was like for me a massive moment of transformation where it was like, oh, there's help. We have higher intelligence, we have higher wisdom, and we all know this, right? Here's a great example. You ever been in the shower? Boom, here come these great ideas. Well, they're coming in because you're not in resistance. You're receiving not right. You're completely non-reactive, and you're receiving and not attached to any outcome. And all of a sudden it's woo. So, I mean, I know many people that, hey, that's their magic place. I get in the shower and here come the ideas. And it's because you are in a receiving mode. And, and I wanted to double down too on something that Tracy said that I love about this. And just being, when I first heard that, I was like, what the heck does be what? Right? We always attach it to what does just being mean? And it's okay, it's really being present, right? And just say and being present and receiving. Yeah,
Yes.
it's don't complicate it. Have fun with it.
I want to add one more, because yes, all the angelic beings, but and again, this goes to whatever your passion is. But for me, the facial, she does use extremely high integrity pure products. But when I am on that table, I'm really communicating and receiving the intelligence from the herbs, from the flowers, because she uses such beautiful products. And so again, the intelligence, if it's food for you, if it's whatever. But for me, in the reference to the facial, there's so much intelligence available for us if we can, just open our mind up to, ooh, can I receive intelligence from a rose petal? Yes, you can. So even another layer of the receiving, it's so amazing if we just, right? And now
Yeah.
look even further, and now look even further.
Yeah, look at it from a blank slate. Look at it from a blank slate and not just, what's I call the History Channel.
Yeah.
History Channel's it's done. It's no longer right. And from that blank slate is when you open your mind to allow more deeper intelligence and stuff, right? And not just referring to the literally your history files or just one experience.
Right. And that's what I think so much of us do, though, because that's what we know. That's our comfort zone. That's whatever. Well, this energy and this whole world right now is shifting out of the comfort zone. I mean, we see it. I mean, I don't think none of us really watch news or anything, but we certainly hear about it. We know that things are breaking down. It has to. The old structure has to break down. That's not what this new world is. It's, about going with the flow, feeling yourself, feeling what is right for you, what's working, paying attention to everything around you. When you take a walk, you go outside, all that earth is giving you that energy. Stop and just
Yeah.
feel it. Feel how energized you
Yeah.
are. People will always say, oh my God, I went for a walk and I just came in feeling so energized. Well, yeah, the trees, the leaves, the grass, everything's giving you that energy, and we're not really paying attention. So stop and pay attention and just feel that, and allow the new way of seeing to come forward.
Yeah, and slow down. And I mean, a great example of that, Renee, is I love to sit. I have a beautiful bay window and I watch the sun come up.
Mm,
And there's so much but you got to slow your roll to appreciate that and take it in. And when people say, "Oh, I'm anxious," and I'm like, "Slow your roll, take 5 minutes and just sit in that." And I understand. I'm not. You don't sit in the window all day, but in that moment, that's when you're connecting, and that's when you are recharging your batteries, and that's when you are Tracy. That's when wellness is happening.
Exactly.
That's when
Yep.
wellness happens for you. And when we sleep a night, of course, because the brain can't get involved. When you're sleeping, that's why they say our cells regenerate so much quicker at night, when we're sleeping. And this is exactly it. And it's like you've got to slow your roll. And I know that there'll be people listening to this that are nature lovers. And if this may connect dots, like, okay, well, that's why I enjoy nature. And it's so cool when you can start connecting those dots and going, okay, it really does feed me. And anything that feeds our senses is
mm.
feeding your wellness, right? Like Tracy, you were saying the smell of the product, but you got to slow your freaking roll to notice it's happening. Like if you were in there, Tracy, like I've seen people on the massage table looking at their cell phone. Don't even pay for them. Don't even get a massage. Just get in your car and go. This beautiful energy that you have an opportunity to receive right now is literally the massage therapist is getting it all. Right?
Or even talking, like I never talk. I tell I don't want to talk to you during any treatment, whether it's a massage or a facial, because I'm so immersed
Yeah.
in all of the energy that having a conversation completely takes me out of. So I notice some therapists, and now I have my two, and I don't see anyone else, but they talk to me, and I'd be like, You're ruining this for me. Stop." Yeah, but same concept.
Yeah.
Like slow your roll, be quiet, be present, be engaged.
But, and I noticed, Patty, you brought up something, a really good point there. The truth of the matter is, so many people are so immersed in life, and you don't understand. You're saying slow your roll. I love that. And so many people say, you don't understand. I've got family, I've got work, I got this, I got that. And they've got all and I'm not saying it the way it's probably going to sound, you got all the excuses.
Yeah.
That's really, really what it is. It's an excuse, because the truth of the matter is you are number one. Even if you just stopped during the day and took that deep breath in and exhaled out, right? Like that's going to
Absolutely.
start to change, because when we're in that crazy, that's all we're going to see.
Yeah. You're on the gerbil wheel.
Yes.
You're on the gerbil wheel. And it's that moment of saying, "Oh, I'm on the freaking gerbil wheel. So I'm going to just step off of it for a second and get some clarity and take a couple of breaths." And
Yeah.
it's true and absolutely proven that when you are in a calm mindset, right? When you've calmed your mind, when you've quieted everything down, that's when you get all your solutions. That's where your power is.
Yeah.
And you're more productive, right? You're not, when you're the swimming upstream, you know it. And if you recognize, oh my gosh, I'm on the gerbil wheel, and most of the time you're being busy for the sake of being busy. And when you like step out of that and go, okay, wait, do I really need to be doing that right now? Or do I need to take 5 minutes for myself to just gather it all together? Right.
Yeah.
And it's a new practice. We have a new operating system now.
Mhm.
And it's like you need to find that moment of stillness. And like Tracy said, like milk it. The way you described that facial, it was like we felt like we had one too.
I know, right? And that's what I love about it, because somebody can explain something. And if you're taking the time to stop and be in that present moment, you'll feel it, because it's an energy that's coming off of that person. And you feel like, oh, I feel now revived. Like, this is so awesome.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's so crazy cool. But that whole perception thing, I think it's, people really taking the time to start to see things when something's triggering you. And I'm sure we've all had that stuff. Something's triggering you and you're like, oh my God, and you're gonna go off. Stop for 1 second, which is very difficult to do. It's not, easy. Stop for a second and take that breath, just relax and try and see it from the other perspective, a different perspective. Even if you don't know what that is, because we know this is what we do. This is how we've done it. This is what we've always done our entire life. And this is what we react to. But you have to stop for a second and just do exactly what you were saying, Tracy, in the beginning. Wait a minute, let me just try and see this from another perspective, whatever that may be. Tracy, I think you're good at doing that. How exactly do you do that?
I'm glad you asked, because I was just thinking, I've noticed, I'm like, okay, now I'm going to switch gears on us of, we're kind of giving examples, be present, be in nature. But I've noticed myself having two reactions to people lately. Instead of being in a mode of explanation or comfort or nurturing or whatever it is, I've kind of switched gears to one of two. Either, they're coming at me with all kinds of stuff and I just do, okay, because they want something from me and I'm just like, all right, like that. It's your responsibility. I hear you. Okay. Or me too. Right. Cause like you say, yeah, but I had that and you don't understand. And then if you say to people, me too, because we all have our version of whatever it is. And it stops people. Well, I know for me, for the role I play in my life, those are two very unexpected responses that people are getting from me that they're like, what, she didn't engage. She gave me the, okay, or the me too. But do you see how there's not an engagement? It's a back at you. Like, okay,
Yeah, well,
back on you.
you're not entangling.
Right.
You're not entangling, which is really important. It's like, I mean, essentially what we're talking about is protecting our own energy, is staying in your own energy. And then, yeah, and you're reflecting back. Okay. Now,
Mhm.
it's like you're holding a mirror up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which again, we spoke to personal responsibility, prior to getting on, and that mirror is pretty huge right now to just, it's back on you. Now, okay, now what's the perspective, right?
Right.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Hey, do any of you have what's one of your what's a great tip that one of you have? I'd love to hear from each of you about um okay, how can I start practicing this? Like, or how
For
can I deepen my practice in this?
right.
Getting out of old habits, in other words.
Right. Well, for me, it's, easy to recognize, and money seems to come to my thought because that seems to be a lot of the clients lately have been saying that, oh, the money's not there. I remembered struggling. I remember having that struggle. And I remember one time where I was like, okay, I just have to get out of this. And I don't know how, because we don't know. We're so entrenched in that we don't know, we don't see. And it's not something that you want to say to people. Like your friends are like, oh, I'm really struggling. And they're like, oh. So I remembered sitting down. Now, I had, taken some classes in that on angels and different stuff. And I remembered sitting down before I pulled the bills out. And because I had to pay the bills, right? And I said, okay, guys, meeting all the angels. Okay, guys, you need to help me with this. I need to get out of this, meaning that whole struggle, that whole, the fear that I was in. Because the truth of the matter is, anything that's not working in our life, it's just a fear. There's only two emotions in the world. It's love and fear. We've got billions of different names for them. Okay, but when I said that, and then I just took a couple deep breaths. I did that breath where I was, inhaling to whatever count, and then I held it for whatever, like 4, and then I exhaled out longer, because that's that fight or flight breath that gets you out of that. And I didn't realize, I mean, now after the fact, many years later, I realized I was always in fight or flight. And I think a lot of us are in that. And that breath is huge, because if you just on a regular basis, and your breath is your breath, you will know how long you can take. But I would breathe in for the count of 5, I'd hold it for the count of 4, I'd exhale for the count of 6. If you do longer, you do longer. But if you got in the habit of every single day, just periodically setting your phone, doing whatever periodically, and saying, okay, I'm just going to take this breath, I'm going to take this, whatever, 2 seconds to do this breath, you are going to start to reprogram your body to get out of that fight or flight. But what was amazing to me was it was the same amount of money, the same bills. Somehow I had like $2.30 extra. I never had extra. I was always in the negative. That $2.30 to me was like gold. I was like, oh my God, how did this
Because you
happen?
shifted.
Yes.
That was the evidence that you then saw. See, this is what we're talking about,
Mm-hmm.
that tiny shift. And I think there's an assumption that's false that, okay, you need to stay in this state all day
Yeah.
long. Like for me to be in joy all day is easy. I've always been silly and fun. Like, so, and I get that. Some people go, okay, what the heck is she on? Right. And that's not sustainable. And it's no, it's my desired state and it's quite sustainable, for me. But so then though, it's like, when something contrasting comes up, absolutely, I use the breath too. And then what you do is you get your body is out of that memory, that reaction, and then go, okay, how can I look at this with, okay, somebody's benefiting from this. I benefited from this. And that's what I look at it as, an exchange. And you just soften the story so that it lands differently in you, because our bodies tell us what's going on. Your body tells you if you're playing in higher consciousness, or are you on the struggle bus, right? Are you in fight or flight? But it's so
Yeah.
true. I think I lived years of my life completely. Now I realize, I mean, completely in fight or flight, with a few exceptional moments of really being present.
Mhm.
Trace?
So I would just add, and I think my kids taught me this. They're 16 and 18 now, but I caught myself doing this early on as a mom, how we all react in situations. We have our trigger, we go off the rails. But and I'll do it in business situations or with my kids or my husband, or, pick I actually stop, think, and I go back and I apologize or reframe. Like, I don't spiral in my head and not readdress it. And like I said, I learned that as an early mom of, I'd go back to my kids and say, I was really, overwhelmed and I was tapped out for some other reason. And I took it out on you and I'm just explaining to you. So it's almost like rewriting the programming instantaneously. Now, and I'm not saying I'm a master, like I'm still, but I'm starting to notice things that I've done in my life that I was like, hey, that was pretty smart. I need to do that more often, right? Like, what do? We have a situation and then we're like, "Oh, I handled that so poorly," but we don't
Yeah.
go back. So go back, like right
Yeah.
there, go back and rewrite.
Yeah, change the history of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And by the way, Tracy, that is mastery that you're talking about, right? I think
Yeah.
all of us were in, right? It really is. And what you did also though in that moment too, though, is you changed how your kids were holding that story, like
Mhm.
that. So if they felt, uh-oh, that didn't feel loving, that felt scary. Now all of a sudden they went, oh my God, here she came with the love. And like Renee said, at the end of the day, we have two choices. It's love or fear. And so that is mastery. When you can recognize, and again, it's not a perfect process. That's the beauty of it. And we're here to experience all sides of it. But in this new energy, it's right, it's that realization. And you're a master, Tracy. Just own it.
Well, and you know what I noticed and what I loved about Tracy's. Now notice what she did. She took ownership. I wasn't taking ownership. It was easy for me to say, okay, guys, let me go right to the angels. Let them take care of this. When I was out of it, when I was like, okay, they got it. Like they got it. And then I was able to pay everything and come up with it. Wasn't taking ownership. But
Well,
sometimes that's where we have to start.
both work.
Yes, exactly.
This is I'm glad you brought that up, Renee.
Hmm.
Both work. This is the whole point. We are so fully supported, and this is why we wanted to, open this up, right? We want to give people a community where you can come in and go, okay, that story kind of resonated with me. And now something that I did or didn't do makes sense to me. And yeah, and they both work. You can just
Yes.
go, okay, right now, the only solution I see is the fearful solution. So help me. How can I see this another way? And then, like that's your thing. go take a shower.
Right. I used to not
Right?
get so much in the shower
Totally.
because
But
we're not thinking about
yeah,
anything. It's like, okay,
yeah,
here we are.
yeah. And a bigger piece of this is now that when you shift your energy, how many times have you ever not responded to something? Just go, okay, I got to put a pin in that. Wait, I'm waiting for guidance. And then you had nothing to do with it and it resolved itself.
Yeah.
We're so used to, I got to fix this right now, right now, right now. And it's like, no, now I'm like a big proponent. No immediate answer that feels good exists. Pause.
Yes. Yes. And
Pause and
what was
right.
one for you? What can you share that what was one of the things for you?
For me, gosh, I have so many. I definitely early on started using the breath.
Mhm.
Um, but for me, I started by identifying triggers because
Oh,
I came from a very defensive energy and I recognized it right away. And I was like, okay, I need to simmer this down. And then I would just notice and then say, okay, well, how can I, why you triggered and not without like what you call without going down the rabbit hole. And then saying, okay, what can I do right now just to change my state? And it was often I love outdoors for me instantly,
mhm.
instantly. And if I go outdoors and breathe, boom, it's it works for me. And well, my biggest thing though, I will say, is owning my morning. I get up,
Mm,
before the sun. I love it. And it's like it's the most quiet, peaceful time, in my world. And when you own your morning and not jump in immediately to chaos. And I know some people say, yeah, but I get up and I have to be up early. I'm like, give yourself 15 minutes. Wake up 15 minutes early and own that 15 minutes to just soak in the peace of the day and breathe. And that really is and before you go to bed,
mm,
like,
yes. Yeah.
not having a bunch of chaos and frenetic energy, really, it's paying attention to your energy and knowing when you just have to go, okay, hitting pause, stillness is what actually causes acceleration towards what you want.
Yes. Yes. And I think that's so important, when you're saying 15 minutes, and I know because, I think, back, somebody would have said that to me, and I'd be like, oh my God, there's no way that I can't, da, da, da," because you're in that phase of saying, I can't do it. I don't have the time. So therefore, what are you bringing to? You don't have the time. When you start to breathe and take, okay, so you can't do 15 minutes, do 1 minute, take a breath, breath. When you're in the shower, don't start thinking about what you're doing that day. Don't start worrying about tomorrow. Stay right in that moment. And if you have to keep breathing, say, okay, I'm shampooing my hair, I'm washing, whatever it is, but stay in that moment, you will start to change your
Yeah.
whole day because
Yep. It
people aren't
shifts it.
understanding.
It's like taking one tick on the compass.
Yes,
It
and then that 1
truly
minute
is.
becomes 2 minutes and 3
Yeah.
minutes,
You
and
master
then
it.
all of a sudden, yeah, because you recognize and you realize, "Oh, wait a minute, that's what I was creating for my day." So now wake up and say, "Wait, what is" okay, talking to your sister, "Okay, what are we creating for today? What are we gonna be? I'm gonna have a peaceful, calm day. I'm gonna have a lot of time for myself," whatever, and you might find that a lot of time might be a minute,
Yeah.
might be 2 minutes. I remember when I first started meditating, like 30 seconds of quiet was like, my God, hours. You know,
Right?
now I
When
can go
people would say 20 minutes of meditating, what? Do you want to know how many things I can get done in 20 minutes? Right?
exactly. It's like, oh my God. How about you, Trace? Oh, she froze.
Uh-oh.
Okay, she
Tracy's
froze.
frozen in the moment. So,
Exactly. But I think, when we start to
Oh, I
really,
would agree. Yeah, on me for a minute.
all
she's
right,
back.
you're back. Yeah.
There you
Okay.
are. Welcome back.
Trickeries out there.
We love it.
It's always going with the flow, going with that whole aspect of flow and joy and recognizing when things like that happen. You go with the flow, like, okay, it was supposed to happen. Like, all right, life is okay. Still clicked on.
So that's kind of interesting because I think that's what I was going to respond. If you set your intention and you hit a little turbulence, ride through the turbulence, right? And which is, I was like, oh, thank you. That's a good example.
Exactly.
And what do? We just, okay.
Right.
I think that's big for me and for, potentially everyone is No one said it was gonna do, I'm pushing for it to be easy and easier and easier, but embracing, it's embracing the suck. Sometimes you're in the suck and it's okay. And, like kind of just do the best you can, ride through it, and then go back to your joy point. I think
Absolutely.
Well
that's
said.
important to really
To really
platform that
embrace this.
painting a row. Oh, my day's great every day.
Yeah.
Really? Okay.
Exactly. There's always moments, and I'm sure that we will eventually get to that point. We will
I
get,
do believe
because
we will.
Patty, you're really good at that. You are
Well,
really good at recognizing and doing.
it was my obsession. It was truly my obsession to change my energy and how I show up every day and how I prefer, I should say. It's here's the other thing. We're not really changing, we're becoming our authentic self. And then allowing that authentic self to play. And yeah, and it's, I call it my happy bubble. And it's
Mhm.
very real for me, and it's what I choose to create. And so, but yeah, and then so it's then okay, now I'm out navigating real life. And yeah, and but what I found is you just soften the edges of everything that you thought you perceived before to be a sharp edge, and then you just go, no, it was just a moment. It was just a moment, and become the observer. Okay, how am I reacting to this? How am I responding to this? And going, that was just a moment. Everything only happens right now. And so, and then that awareness. Yeah. And then having the awareness, and it does, you take a hard look at yourself and your behavior and the words you use and now, right. And and then recognizing here's an opportunity. Okay, I have an opportunity to shift and pull it back in. And sometimes, hey, you might carry it with you into the day, but when you go to sleep, reset your ass and get up, own your morning, and right. And it's just to notice when you're carrying something is going, I hit the pause button and go, okay, no. And if I don't know how to drop it, I'm like, okay, now I need to get in this. I got to get in the zone.
Right.
Time to get in the zone. So,
And I love when you said it, because the truth is, when you have those little moments of like, okay, like I'm in this now, or something's happening, when you shift any part of your perception, okay, where you're taking the time, you're getting out of the fight or flight, whatever it is, any of those little things, that does affect your entire life. But, and Patty, you and I talked about this once before, when you're going back into who and what you truthfully are, that beautiful spiritual being of light, that true oneness, it is so natural that you do not recognize it. So it's so easy to focus on all the other things that didn't work. But I always say to everybody, if you can, at the end of the day, or at the very minimum at the end of the week, look back at your week, look back at your day, and what did I not react to that I did yesterday or the other? How did my day go? You're looking for the positives. You're not looking for all the sucky things in your life. You're looking for all the good things. Don't look at the shit. Let's look at the positive, because that's going to shift every aspect. Tracy, what did you want to say?
Pretty much the same thing. It adds sometimes, and again, I think we're in a time that this is transitioning, contrast, duality, polarity. But for me, it gives you perspective. If you are in an uncomfortable situation or painful, like I don't know if you've ever had a night that your bed is literally the most comfortable, soothing. Like, who appreciates their bed to that level that sometimes I appreciate my bed? If I've been on a trip but see, you don't even, it brings you back into that experience to have the awareness of the contrasting perspective of, and I love that. I try and never miss it. If I'm in something that's challenging or tumultuous, the flip side of that, oh my gosh, a glass of water has never tasted more delicious, right? Like those conversations that people are like, it's just a glass of water. We drink them every day. And I'm like, can you not feel and taste how delicious? And it's amazing. I love that in life. And right now for me, a lot of times is a contrasting experience allows me to have that perception of, I am so grateful. And I'm talking about for the simplest things in life. I will have this heart-opening gratitude for something that everyone just takes advantage of every day. And I think it's awesome. Even if I had to have the contrast to put me in the position to be like, oh my gosh, my bed, it's magic. My bed is magic.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah. I love that. And that's part of all the abundance energy too. It's
Yeah.
we're surrounded by good, when you go grocery shopping, are you thinking like, okay, the farmer grew this food and then somebody had to drive it in the truck and then these people that they got up at 4 in the morning to open the store and right and all that. Or do you go to the store and you're completely unconscious, throwing things in and going, oh, the line's long and blah blah blah, right? That's your energy. That's your and that's what you're going to get back. You're going to get the other person in the line that's going, this line sucks, versus and it's absolutely true. If you look at it a different way, you have a different experience. You really do. And Tracy, and that's what you're practicing there, Tracy, is, we say, they say gratitude's like the secret sauce of the universe. It really is. And it's, again, you have to slow down and in that moment going, oh my God, I love my bed right now. It's right. It's cozy and warm and appreciating those moments and not look at everything that went wrong and saying, "Oh my gosh, that was cool. That was cool. That was cool." And staying in that, like Renee said, then now that's what you're radiating out. That's what you're
Mhm.
creating,
Right.
right?
And yeah, I'm glad you said that, Tracy, because you're right. Gratitude is so huge. And I remember my friend Ann had told me about this meditation that Louise Hay had. And it was like this morning meditation. And it was things like you never think about because I got in the habit of, okay, let's send gratitude, for everything. And I didn't even think of these things. And she said in the thing, which the first time I heard it, I was like, what the heck? But I was like, she's right. So she goes to the thing and she's like, be grateful for the water that you have, for being able to flush your toilet, for the refrigerator, for your sink that has running water. I was like, oh my God, you're right. We have so many things to be grateful for. But I do remember a time in my life that you could have said to me, well, what are you grateful for in your life? I'd be like, nothing. Like,
Yeah,
I mean,
I
you
don't know.
think nothing. It's not like,
What?
I don't know and then they could have said things. I'd be like, oh yeah, maybe. Because it's like, if you want to come and show up in the world angry, that's what you're going to see. And that's what you're going to receive. You're going to get the experiences to help you to be angry. You want to show up and you say, okay, I'm going to change something in my life. Because I remember at one point saying, I have to change this. Like, I cannot keep going through this. I can't hold all of this anger anymore. It doesn't work for me.
Yeah.
And recognizing your words, even if you say them with anger, interestingly enough, they come through with such a beautiful energy. And, I'll give you an experience. I remember having this experience, and there was this person that I could not stand, and she couldn't stand me either, which was okay. Like that West Side me wanted to come out. I just wanted to rip her hair out every time. I just thought I just had to see her, and I thought I got to stop this. Like this is not serving me any good. And I remember seeing her once coming at me, and I said, and I hope I can say this language, and I said, I send her fucking love. Like, I mean, with so much venom and so much anger, it was ridiculous. And I am telling you, the beautiful energy that started to go to her that I could see. I said, why does she get all that beautiful energy? I'm like, that's bullshit.
She's the asshole. She got all the energy.
Exactly. And they said, you're getting it too, but you're just in a different state. So you can't feel it. You can't see it. And I was like, oh, all right. But I was still angry. So I didn't. But it really was interesting to me how I said it with such anger. And here she got exactly what I asked for, love. And the more I did that, and then the more I started to say, I'm receiving love. I'm giving my body, my system love. I'm giving every aspect of me love because that injured child, because there are many different years in there. So all the injured children inside were angry and they didn't think they had a voice. They didn't have anything. So it was that point of when I started to send love, it was shocking to me what started to show up in my life and how much gratitude I started to have. Not in the beginning, like you have these little things like, oh, that was nice.
Yeah.
Oh, that was fun. But I don't think that I really recognized because I was still trying to focus on the negative, on the anger, because that angry piece was in there. But the more you just keep doing that, the more shifts, and you don't even recognize it. You do not realize until all of a sudden one day you're just looking at the positives because there isn't the crap anymore because you're recognizing it's not there. That's not what I see anymore.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, Patty, you must have done that same. And I
Oh,
know, you said like that was because of the child.
tremendous. Look, tremendous. Yeah, like went from, okay, everything's coming at me, not seen, not heard, all of this to just, yeah. And I would practice that. I would practice walking down the street and just thinking in my head, okay, just looking at strangers and going, I love you. Looking at dogs, looking at the
Mm.
trees and going, oh, I love you. I love you. And I thought, okay, well, if I want to feel love radiating back to me, I'm just going to practice. And it became secondary. People go by me now and it's, I'm just like, oh, okay, that's another soul going by me and it's all good. And, I don't know their story, what's going on and whatever their journey is. And it's okay. But that shouldn't stop me from going, okay, I, I send you love because it's true. It does come back, and I think that now in my practice, I'm to the point that I can feel it. So it's why would you? It's like you said, and I can't remember the moment where it was a gradual thing, and it's a gradual practice, and having patience with it, but setting, like you said, choosing, just make the choice, even if you don't understand it,
Yes.
right? Right.
Absolutely.
Any closing comments, Tracy?
Oh, not in closing, because I always have the next topic right there in the wing. But for next time, discernment is going to be.
I
I love
like it.
it.
I don't have any closing comments. I just say, think I just try and show up every day, be the best I can be compassionate and loving and forgiving to myself first, and then to all those around us. And, gosh, we're all in this together.
Yeah.
So just, yeah, be loving, make the most of it. And, yeah, be the best you can be. Like, that's where I start. Show up
Yeah.
as the best version of myself, and it might change minute by minute. Like, oh, now I'm a new version. I'm going to embrace that.
Yeah. Yeah.
I love that. Yeah. It's just honoring who and what you are in that moment and not looking for the negative. Like I'm perfect exactly the way I am. Start saying that, start being that. You'll feel the difference.
Yeah. And loving and forgiving, Tracy.
Mm.
Huge, huge
Mhm.
what you just said.
Yeah.
Super. Well, ladies, we're going to call this one a wrap. And if anybody here likes what they're hearing, and we really encourage you, drop comments in the bucket below. Let us know. Let us know where you're from, where you're listening from. Let us know if there are topics that we may have triggered in you that you want to hear more of. We'd love to hear from you. Hit the like button and the subscribe button if you want more. And if this isn't for you, it's okay. We'll provide a parachute and a happy, safe landing for all of you. So, ladies, thank you so much. I love both of you dearly, and I'll see you next time.
Thank you. Love you.
Much love.
Bye.